Are low interest rates impacting on your investment returns? It's time to rethink. Rethink Investing creates wealth for clients through the strategic purchase of positively geared, high cash flow commercial property. Industrial properties, retail assets, or office spaces can be a smart investment option that produces significant and long-term return on investment. Rethink your investment options and look to commercial property. Learn more at rethinkinvesting.com.au. Rethink Investing, Australia's #1 commercial buyers agency.
Welcome to the Smart Property Investment Show, the podcast by investors for investors.
Okay, hey gang, it's Phil Tarrant here, host of the Smart Property Investment Show by investors for investors. I guess they're talking about me there, investing in property, and I've now been doing that for nearing a decade, and I've been mapping that process through smartpropertyinvestment.com.au, so go and check it out. If you're not familiar with our particular portfolio that we build inside Smart Property Investment, you can go to the website smartpropertyinvestment.com.au and see how we go about doing it, warts and all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, and at the moment it feels like a lot of bad stuff, but that's just part of the cycle we're in. But good portfolio, north of about $8 million, and we're holding on, hoping to see some good capital growth through this particular market cycle. And this market cycle, everyone's talking about it. You pick up any paper and there's someone telling you property's going to grow by 25% over the next 3 years, right across Australia. Who knows? You've got to have some sense of clarity in this market, understand what your objectives are and how you're going to go about hopefully creating wealth. But there's markets within markets. Not all markets are created equal, and there will be those people who do well in this particular cycle. There's also going to be those people who don't. They're either going to buy at the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong type of assets. So make sure you're not one of them. But if you're tuning into the Smart Property Investment Show, I'd like to think you're making more informed investment decisions. That's what we do. We get people from right across Australia coming in, telling us their stories investing in property. We also tap those people in the market on the shoulder who do this for a living, and we get them in to have a bit of a chat with us so I could pick their brains about what they're doing, where they're doing it, and hopefully all of us can learn something from that. Today's going to be very much like that. Sanjeev Sah is in the studios, back by popular demand, director of Investor's Dream. He's a property investor himself, but also a buyer's advocate or a buyer's agent. Sanjeev, how you going?
Very good, Phil. Thank you.
How's the world of property buying at the moment, mate?
Oh, very, very challenging, interesting, and at the same time, very good actually, in terms of what we are seeing and what we are buying for our clients and the kind of results we are seeing. So
the opportunity for us today, we've got about half an hour or so, Sanjeev. I want to sort of understand the real world environment out there buying property. So everyone's out there. You don't need to go to any auction at the moment. And, I normally nose around on a Saturday and pop it into auction. You'll have 60 and 70 in this market registered bidders who are all sort of hungry to buy a property. And guess what? Every single person except for the actual successful bidder leaves disappointed mainly. And a lot of people are starting to get fatigued by this market where they're spending a lot of time, energy and effort and money preparing themselves to bid at auction. And for those good investors out there, they know, you've got to be doing your pests and buildings and stuff. This takes time and it can cost you a few dollars. So how hard is it out there at the moment, Sanjeev, to buy property? How competitive is it?
It is very competitive, as you know, Phil. So last week I was in Adelaide for 3 days. Like one property would say like 30, 40 groups coming through, 10 solid offers. The prices were like 10% more than the asking. So yeah. And the same thing we are seeing like in other markets, actually pretty much across the country. Either you're buying a 300K property or 5 million. At the same time, what we have seen is like clients are getting like 10% growth in 3 months is not uncommon.
It's a really tough environment, and just because it is competitive doesn't mean you shouldn't be investing in property right now. However, you need to be conscious that it is a very fluid environment. So you need to be buying with some advantages, and hopefully using a buyer's agent, you're getting some of those advantages. But if you're just trading on the open market, looking on realestate.com.au, going along to rocking up at open homes with every Tom, Dick and Harry, you're going to be paying what the property is worth, and in a market which is going north rapidly, it's often going to be more than what the asking price is. How are you navigating that whole, it's marketed at this particular price, but the actual sales price is 10% over? You've got no real room for negotiation in this market. You've just got to be quick and ready and being able to be decisive to make a buy, right?
True, well, yeah. At the same time, you have to really understand, you're as you mentioned, buying the right stock. And then you have to quick. So what is working is it's the same fundamental, either you're buying in a soft market, being on the ground, understanding your local market, because unless you have walked through the streets, you're not going to get the confidence to buy a property, especially for the investors, because first home buyers are definitely going for the open homes, right? And what is the next thing is working is profiling of the agents. Different agents in the same suburb will have different way of working, different style of selling the property. So to give you a bit of context here, like what we are seeing is few agents are doing big campaign, 1 week, 2 weeks, and they are happy to get the maximum price, and that's what they're doing, right? Another type of agents are who are happy to sell for the right price in a day or two, as far as they have good, strong offers, and they have the confidence in you that, okay, finance and all those conditions people are putting, right? So profiling of the agent is becoming crucial, right? At the same time, what is working is like, say, being the visibility, showing strong offers, and that way, like once they have the confidence, then they're willing to work with you. And that's where we are seeing a lot of right now. Last month, we bought good number of properties, and 60% was through the off the market / relationship is strong. And 30-40% of our stocks were purely online and going and putting a strong offer and removing the finance clause as well. Because we know in this market, like valuation is not going to be a problem for this price. So really good data-driven understanding, talking to a lot of local people, agents. And then if our client's finance is strong enough, then removing that clause, just keeping the building in pest, because we can't remove, right?
Yeah.
And then that way, like putting a strong offer and saying we are buying. And of course, we have a leverage because they know they are buyer agents, how we work, right? Our clients are not like, oh, they might finance fail or something like that. So that's getting quite
tactical, because in a different market where there's more sellers than buyers, it's normally the flip of that, where you can start loading up your negotiation with all these clauses which benefit the buyer rather than the seller, where you would say, well, I want to extend this, I want to extend that, I want to do this, that, and the other. So in this particular market, to actually be decisive, you're waiving some of the clauses which normally sit inside a contract, saying, yeah, I'll waive the finance clause. So you're committing to the purchase at the front end, rather than having all these sort of loopholes or little scenarios that allow you to extract out of the purchase. So the question, Sanjeev, is, do real estate agents want to work with buyer's agents at the moment? Because often in a hot market, they go, I don't want to deal with buyer's agents because they make my life too hard. I'm going to go straight to the source. I'm going to go straight to the, whether it's a first-time buyer or the mum and dad investor do it themselves. So there is still benefit for real estate agents to transact with buyer's agents for speed and security.
100%, Philip. Like, say, as I said, like even you do the profiling of the agent who are going with a big campaign, they still love the buyer agent because they know these guys are going to come with a strong offer and the likelihood of getting things done, because there is a representation, like it's going to a court and not by yourself or with the representation, right? And the second tier of the agents who are willing to accept a strong offer, they love buyer agent because they text me, they call me, Sanjeev, we are coming through wherever we have purchased the deal, and they're happy. And then third layer is your off the market, right? A strong relationship. And they are like, just give you a update, right? Okay, this is what it is. And then this time, like you will ask, okay, what is the price you would like to have so that everyone has to win, right? The vendor, the agent, they are not dumb agents, right?
Yeah.
They want also to be winning. So, but understanding and then, yeah.
The thing with them, and for our listeners that don't have a great appreciation for how real estate agents work. Real estate agents, if they can avoid it, don't want to run long campaigns. Real estate agents, if they can avoid it, don't want to spend money on marketing. Real estate agents, if they can avoid it, don't want to have some long protracted negotiation with someone to sell the property. If an agent gets a listing today at 10 a.m. and if you can call Sanjeev at 10:05 and say they will take this particular price and you can say yes immediately, that's how real estate agents want to act.
Yes, and that's what has happened a couple of times for us. Literally, they have just secured the listing, not even secure the listing, and they have already given the heads up because they know. And then, as you said, 10 o'clock and 10:05, the deal is done.
That's great for a real estate agent. They're still making the commissions on that, probably at a rate which is attractive to the vendor. Job done for everyone.
Yeah, and avoid those 100 phone calls and everything, right? So, and they can focus on the next listing now.
Yeah.
And the stock love is less, right? So, like, they are also struggling.
It is. So what's your tips, Sanjeev, or tactics for making friends with real estate agents if they don't necessarily want to know you? How do you go about forming a new relationship with a real estate agent, how do you prove to them that you're a man of action rather than someone who's just tire kicker, so to make sure you get the phone calls first?
Now, that's a very good question because, see, there is a work involved. Like, you can't just make relationship anyone just saying, hello, this is my name, right? So literally you go on the ground, you talk, like take the appointment. And of course, there is a bit of a sales piece, especially now. I'm not just an investor, I'm like a buyer agent, right? So we always tell, okay, see, we have got pull of clients and this is what we're looking for. So be precise on what you're looking for. And then, and it's like we are sharing, like, okay, we are buying properties in this location. Last month we bought this number of properties. So they see that they are serious and how you communicate, right? And then if it works, it works. And it's like you talk to 10 people and maybe 4 people might turn up, right? So last week I was in Adelaide on the south side, and literally one of my team member, like, we had called 20 agents. 10 of the agents say, oh, we are busy, we don't have time. And we understand that. But there were 5 agents who literally had coffee and good appointment with us and willing to work. Even it's a crazy there, right? So that's what it is like. So building relationship, it takes time. It is not a one-day game, but that's what one has to do, especially in hot market, right?
Hot market.
But the same fundamental I have worked, like when I was building my in portfolio, I've got all my best deals because of the relationship.
Yeah, and relationships matter in this game. And how do you go about managing so many relationships with so many agents? It can get quite challenging, right? And to your point earlier, they've all got different ways of doing things.
Yeah, so I think definitely we focus on the one who are really willing to work with us. At the same time, we still spend time with the other ones who want to do a big campaign, because sometimes even they because understand their challenge as well. If the vendor is smart enough or say they want to do a big campaign, the agent can't do much about it, right? Because the vendor is paying for that. So, but not all the vendor understand what's going on, right? And sometimes the vendor don't even want someone to inspect the property. Or sometimes the tenants are going through their roof or something like that, right? But yeah, it's like continuous talking, sending sometimes gifts or something like that.
Yeah, what sort of gift you send them? A bottle of whiskey or something or other?
Yeah, even sometimes like just saying them or like calling for a lunch. Yeah. I think it's not like something they want expensive thing. It's just, a good respect, something.
And I guess the objective is just to be top of mind whenever they get good properties coming their way.
At the same time, very professional. Like when they bring you a deal, you give the genuine feedback, right? That, okay, not like, oh, it's just, I didn't like it. You give a proper reason because they have worked and they have thought about you. So now it's your time to really respond and just.
Yeah. I guess the takeaway for this, for property investors out there, if you're not using a buyer's agent, you're going to make sure that you have and you're armed with the same capabilities what a buyer's agent would have in order for tracking down those best possible deals. So you need to know the real estate agents. You need to know the market you're buying within. You've got to have the soft skills as well as the hard skills to, look at data and analyze it, but also the relationship building skills to make sure the agent likes you, and that's pretty important. And you can build a relationship with them, and there's trust in a relationship. A lot more becomes available. So you got to work on these things, and it's not easy by any means. It just doesn't happen overnight. You can't expect to spend, Sanjeev, an afternoon trying to make friends with agents, and that's actually centre your friends for life. It's perpetual connectivity with those agents, checking in with them, understanding really how they think, how they work, what buttons are pressed with them, so you can be a tool for them rather than something that's an inhibitor. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. So Sanjeev, I want to get into some of the areas you're buying right now, and to your point around building relationships. You can't have great relationships with agents right across the nation. No doubt you've got some particular target areas. We'll just go to a break beforehand. Stay with us. When we come back, where Sanjeev's buying. Back in a moment.
Whether you're a seasoned property investor or about to buy your first property, finding the right investment property to buy in 2021 isn't easy. Why do it alone when you could partner with award-winning buyer's agent Paul Glossop? Over the last 10 years, Paul has helped hundreds of clients build multi-property portfolios. Paul's secret is finding off-market bargains that get snapped up before the general public even gets a sniff. Interested? Head to purepropertyinvestment.com today to schedule a strategy call with Paul Glossop.
Welcome back, everyone. Phil Tarrant, host of the Smart Property Investment Show with Sanjeev Sah. He's the director of Investor's Dream and also a property investor. Now, Sanjeev, you said that you've been in Adelaide last week. I'm going to ask you about what you like down there and also some other markets that you're buying in right now. So let's start with down in Adelaide. What do you like down in Adelaide? Why are you down there at the moment? What are you seeing in that market versus some other markets in Australia?
Adelaide, I think it's one of the like capital cities. It's like you have got everything, and literally you're buying like say either on the north side within 30 kilometers or south side. And this time like my focus was on the south side. It's literally beach, all the cities, and literally you can buy for say 400.
Is this sort of Onkaparinga type way? Is
Yeah,
that where you were?
exactly. Yeah.
Which sort of suburbs are you looking at, or which areas?
Christian, like Downs, Christie Beach, and all those pockets, Woodcraft, and so yeah, good pockets, and like it's still good, affordable. You can buy something like up to 450. You can really buy good, decent deals, and like there is good plans for infrastructure and funding, which is started, and it's there, but like still I see good lifestyle and things are progressing, and it's like positive cash flow properties with decent land size. So whatever you look as a fundamental of property investing, it's there, and and it's hard to buy. It's tight market as usual, as across the country I would say, but that's where the focus is on in the current market.
They've been and maybe give some insights into it. They've been talking about sort of infrastructure development in that Onkaparinga for as long as I've been investing, and there's been certain people and very informed people. Margaret Lomas, for example, has always spoke very highly about Onkaparinga. She's bought quite hard through there over the years. Is there much happening, or is it still as steady as she goes? It's, you're not going to shoot the lights out investing in that particular area of Adelaide, but that's the Adelaide market. It doesn't sort of have the peaks and troughs like you would see, or the spikes in Sydney and Melbourne. Is there enough happening there for you to give sense for long-term capital growth play? And I imagine that's why most people would be investing in that particular area.
Yeah, that's right. At the same time, see, like COVID has taught a lot of things, right? The working flexibility and everything. So more people would love to, like working from home and all those things, right? So that is one of the good factor, I would say. But the growth is happening. I spoke to agents and everything. A lot is happening, actually. A lot of construction happening. But at the same time, as I said, it's the affordability, like 350, 400K with land size, house. You can add value, do this or that. You can't go wrong. And being Adelaide. So, and like once the more funding and the infrastructure is going, then literally those 400 will become 500 easily. So I can see that happening very soon,
And your investment philosophy, Sanjeev, what sort of market do you play within that sort of low? You're not sort of operating in the millions of dollars. You're sort of looking to buy in that sort of 400, 500 range. Is that where you operate?
Yeah, true. Well, 3 to 500, 550. That has to be a positive cash flow and decent land size, add value, and like say reno, subdivision, granny flat, those kind of structure, depending on the client needs as well.
Yeah, and you talk about positive cash flow. What's your metric for positive cash flow? Do you just do it based on, 80% LVR, lending, and the rent coming in off it? What's your sort of philosophy towards it all? So
it's with 90% LVR. I mean, as an investor, I would love to get 100% loan, but unfortunately, we can get 90%, right, with the LMI. So it's 90% and just in high capital growth areas, but has to be positive cash flow because property investing has to be treated as business, and you can't open a coffee shop when you're out of pocket every day, right?
Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense. And what sort of clients are attracted to your particular way about doing it? Are they mainly Sydney-based, or are they right across Australia? Who's sort of resonating with your particular investment philosophy?
I think it's all sort of people, and I've got clients across the country, Queensland, Victoria, like New South Wales, even in Perth and Canberra. So I think all sort of, so I'm part of a lot of property communities where they have seen the success. So they're really educated investors, and they're coming across because the fundamental of property investing is there from ages, right? It has not changed, and I see all sort of people resonating who want to learn, who have the mindset to do it well and build a portfolio, because that requires mindset, right? And so I've got all range of a lot of IT professionals because I was working as an IT engineer.
That's right, you're an IT guy, weren't you? Yeah.
But I've got dentists, accountants. Recently, one of our team member who was working as a landscaper, he's 22 years old. He signed up with us and we bought a good property for him, like $372K and renting for $420 per week.
Okay.
Good positive cash flow and good land size. And he has joined now.
Okay.
Investors Dream. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Now, so we're talking about South Australia, the Onkaparinga area. Go and check it out on a map. You'll see more, Christie Beach, etc. And people have been active there for many years. What's the zoning changes like there now? Is it still evolving quite a lot, or is it pretty much stable in terms of zoning changes?
I think zoning changes are happening not majorly. That's what I got from the real estate agents, but it's happening across like near the shore, like say on the beaches.
Yeah.
It's a lot of changes are happening, and it's good. But I haven't seen much like in the residential in the space I'm working, like 3 to 500K. But definitely a lot of things are happening. So I'll not be surprised that the council is zoning, because any growth corridors, you will have zoning changes.
Yeah. And what's the sort of development type plays for knockdown rebuilds, duplexes? Is there a degree of flexibility? How familiar are you with the regulations around sort of adding value to property down there?
Oh, so you mean in Adelaide?
Yeah.
No, not much in the Adelaide market, But I've been doing more in New South Wales, like 1:3 subdivision. Victoria, we have done in Bendigo market, a couple of them. So it's strong. But Adelaide, no, we have not done any subdivision deals.
Okay.
Even though because of the price point and all those things. But it's same fundamental. So
where else are you buying in Australia at the moment? Which markets do you like?
So we're buying in a lot of in regional New South Wales, like say Albury, Wagga Wagga, I would say. It's good market. At the same time, like in Bendigo, now I think we are mostly living Bendigo because we're buying like good subdivision deals there, which is really now.
So by subdivision deals, what sort of stuff are you buying there?
So like say 1:2, like you have an existing house and you can keep that and build something on the back. Or like another deal we bought like 1:3, literally in North Bendigo, buy something we bought in last year in December. I would say good deal. You can build 2 houses and the market has moved, right? So the clients are laughing. But it's good deals there. And of course in Brisbane as well, we're buying. Yeah.
Clever. You've been a bit cagey there, Sanjeev. You don't want to give too much away for our listeners, but I appreciate that. You don't want to be competing with everyone, I guess.
Yeah. So now I think...
Yeah. And what do you enjoy most about the work that you're doing right now as a buyer's agent? How do you go balancing all the needs of your clients simultaneously that all want the best property in Australia?
It's interesting, but it's good. Like I love property. So it's like, actually I work 7 days, I would say. You'll say, oh, Sanjeev, you're not balancing your life. But it's like, and it's still, and working from home. So I think I still spend good time with my wife and daughter.
Yeah.
But it's like going and like say last week I was in Adelaide, meeting people. You can't get bored, right? And then see the beaches and all those things. So it's the fun. And then as part of the business, my always has been that education has been the key, as you know, like that has changed my life. So as part of my business process, first thing is once any of the clients sign up, I educate about the property mindset, different strategies, just show them the case studies, what we are doing, and then so that they can learn as much as possible and then make their own decision. Because this property investing is a game of making decisions, right? So educate them and like you can't get bored, like say, so that way we have a very smooth journey with all of our clients. They're educated, they see the value, and then like say they are onboarded on the journey, right? Like they know why they're buying, why we are doing this and that. Because most of the people have fear and doubt because right now, especially in this, money is so cheap, right? So you can go and shop anything. But when you understand what I'm doing and how this will help me, it's like it's so fascinating and like I just enjoy it. That's
cool. I remember we caught up a little while ago now, but you spent quite a lot of money on your own education by memory, didn't you?
Yeah. Close to 150K.
So. Still the best money you've ever spent?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because and it's still I spend like I've got good mentors and everyone. If you can't learn, then no. Growth is happiness, right?
Yeah, growth is happiness. It's a good philosophy. And speaking of growth, I understand you've just grown your own portfolio a little bit more. We'll have a chat about that. Let's go to a break beforehand. Back in a moment.
Are low interest rates impacting on your investment returns? It's time to rethink. Rethink Investing creates wealth for clients through the strategic purchase of positively geared, high cash flow commercial property. Industrial properties, retail assets, or office spaces can be a smart investment option that produces significant and long-term return on investment. Rethink your investment options and look to commercial property. Learn more at rethinkinvesting.com.au. Rethink Investing, Australia's #1 commercial buyers agency.
Welcome back, everyone. Phil Tarrant, host of the Smart Property Investment Show, with Sanjeev Sah, Director, Investor's Dream. We're chatting through where he's buying right now and how he's forging smart and close relationship with real estate agencies to get an advantage in what is quite a hot market right across Australia. He was a bit cagey on where he's buying, understandable. That's what most good buyers agents do, but gave quite a lot away there in relation to South Australia and Onkaparinga area. Now, Sanjeev, you're back buying property yourself. Tell us about it. We sort of, when we last caught up, we got a bit of an inside view of your portfolio. I think by memory then it's sort of 7 properties in your portfolio. You just secured property number 8.
Yeah. So I was planning to buy like in August this year. After in July, I would have done my tax returns and everything. But then recently I was thinking, I'm buying properties. I'm getting good off the market. Market is also moving. So why not I secure the property beforehand? So like last month, one of the property was presented to me off the market. And then I just asked the agent, like, do you think we have any opportunity for extended settlement? You just ask the question, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing loose. It's off the market. So, and he said, okay, let me try. And then we fix on a price, little give and take, right? And he said, no, it's good. So I got that property. So I was, okay, so it's a good solid house, good land size.
So you've exchanged on the property, and then once you've done tax return and sorted your mortgage out, you'll get finance. Correct.
So we exchange, and now we're going unconditional sooner, and like after billing and pest everything, which is everything is sorted out. It's just and then like the settlement will happen. So we'll pay the 10% deposit, which is gonna sit in the agent account, and we'll settle in August.
Okay, and tell me about the property. Whereabouts is it?
So this property is in Albury.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Albury Wodonga, which is right on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, for those who know. It's a regional centre. I think there's a big hospital, tax offices down there as well. They've got a fair bit going on in there. So how much did you pay?
So I bought for $300K.
Okay. So there's different areas of Albury as well. There's, I guess, the whole gamut of lower socioeconomic properties and those which are more on the expensive end. So is this sort of somewhere in the middle, is it?
Yeah. It's in a good pocket, like near to the town centre, 300, good like 800 block and land size block. Okay. You can build another house on the back. Okay.
And that's what you think you'll do over time, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think currently it's only renting for $270 or $280 per week. It's a tenant from long time, but it's rock solid house. And I think once we take over, I think we might get a rent of around $350, I would say.
Okay. That's good. And then you just sort of, do you actually have a settlement date that you got to work towards now? So you've got to make sure you get all your ducks in line to make sure you can meet that deadline.
True, yeah. So we've got like 90 days of settlement. So I think it'll be. Yeah.
And for those, I guess to conclude this particular discussion, Sanjeev, if you're sort of coming to the market now, and whether or not you're new to investing or you've got 1 or 2 properties, where do you think your money's best spent at the moment? Where would you be investing? Any particular areas or types of assets do you think is most relevant to our listeners?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people say, what is the best location and all, but people have to look after themselves in terms of the strategy and the number. They are willing and like definitely buy positive cash flow property and wherever you can find. So definitely in the area we talked about in Adelaide or Albury, Wagga Wagga, or in Queensland, say go to Toowoomba. Good locations, right? Good capital growth, watch. And so it'll be worth investing in these areas.
Yeah. And do you think sort of for the immediate future or midterm future, we're quoting this on the first Tuesday of the month. So the Reserve Bank of Australia meets this afternoon. And it's typically when, if there is changes to interest rates, they make their announcement. I think they've been pretty clear. There's probably no changes for the immediate future. What's your sort of long-term views towards interest rates, or how are you framing your investment decisions based on potential fluctuations to the cash rate moving forward, which influences the actual mortgage rate?
Yeah. So see, right now also we are doing all of the calculation with the rate of interest of like 3%, 3.5. And so it's like, I don't think next 1 year or something, there's much change going to happen. Yeah. And maybe more. But I'm like looking forward when the COVID is a little better and hopefully next 1.5 years, the borders open. And that will be interesting to see because entire world is looking at Australia, right? So when they allow overseas migration back in Australia, I think there's going to be people lining up at every single embassy or consulate right across the world to get a pass into Australia. So that's good for property investors. It's good for Australia to keep building out
the population here, and I know the Prime Minister is pretty much geared to the ongoing growth and development of the economy here and turning it into a digital economy and all this sort of stuff. So we're going to need those skills and talents. So when those borders open up, they're going to be needing somewhere to live, and a lot of them, new migrants, normally start by renting until they can get themselves set and stable, get themselves a few dollars together so they can buy a house. So again, it's good for property investors. What's your overall portfolio like now, Sanjeev? Has you got all rented out? Everyone's happy? No major issues?
Yeah, no major issues. I think, you get some time like here and there, minor things, but nothing major. Yeah, currently I've got 7 properties plus 3 land where I was planning to start the construction.
Okay.
But I think I'm now delaying that process as well, because what's going with the low supplies of the construction material, and I think now the price has gone up.
It's hard to get a builder, right?
Yeah, a good builder, and 10% up. So I'm reconsidering, but at the same time, I'm thinking, this is not going to go down in near future, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's there. And then the 8th property I bought, which is still.
So you've got 8 properties and 3 parcels of land, which are just empty. How do you go? Because you can't deduct interest payments on vacant blocks of land. Is that sort of hurting your overall portfolio position, or are you still getting some capital appreciation on that land?
So those lands are not the vacant. I mean, it's like I've not bought separately. It's on my house where I've subdivided.
Okay.
So which is ready to go.
Oh, okay.
So they are all positive cash flow.
Yeah. Okay.
And I invested money to get it subdivided.
Okay. So where you live, you've subdivided that land.
So where I live, that is my PPR, that I'm not subdivided, but but like that doesn't have the potential because it's a smaller land.
Yeah.
That's the only property which has got like 400 square meter of land in Penrith near the station, right? But all other houses have got big lands, all my investments.
Okay.
And they have always, I look for like minimum 2 or 3 strategies. Otherwise, I'm not buying. Okay.
No, it's good counsel. Sanjeev Sah, Director of Investor Dream. Thanks for your time today. I always like catching up.
No, thanks, Phil. Thanks for your time.
Nice one. Remember to check out smartpropertyinvestment.com. There are lots of stories like this. You go and check it all out. Click on the podcast button, or if you're a reader, there's no shortage of information there. Hope you remember social media, Smart Property HQ, if that's how you like to get your information. And please, wherever you're listening to this, on your favourite podcast app, please keep those reviews coming. The team here get a real kick out of it. It's just not me behind the mic here. We've got a great team of talented podcast producers who make me sound good, and they get a real kick out of your feedback. So please do that. Hey, if you want to come on the show, get in touch. Property investors, irrespective of where you are, from Broome to Brisbane to Bundanoon to, give me another one, Bundaneer. Okay with that. Get in touch with the team, editor at smartpropertyinvestment.com.au. Come on the show. We can do it all over Zoom, or like Sanjeev, you can come into the actual studio, have a yarn with us. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back again next time. Until then, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.
This past year, we've all experienced isolation and uncertainty. For kids living with serious illness, like 7-year-old Annabella, this is something they feel every day. This Starlight Day, you can give happiness to thousands of seriously ill children like Annabella, and donations made before Sunday 9th of May will be matched by a generous Starlight partner. Donate today at starlightday.org.au.